And I give the floor to the representative of Algeria.
شكرا السيد.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to thank the Under-Secretary General, Ms. Izumi Nakamitsu, for her comprehensive briefing. Allow me at the outset to once again express Algeria's deep concern regarding the flow of arms and ammunition to conflict zones, including the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. Time and again, Algeria has noted that the flow of arms and ammunition to areas of conflict and wars will only fuel the fire and escalate tensions. It will impede every effort to find a peaceful solution for conflicts. The spread of some arms, such as mines and different types, is not only a short-term threat, but it also remains for decades, even after the end of a conflict. Unfortunately, there were many incidents that led to the death of civilians because of the explosion of such weapons during and after conflicts. On another hand, the flow of arms and ammunition to areas of conflict and wars increases the risk of having such arms and ammunition fall into the hands of extremist, criminal and terrorist groups, increasing their ability to carry out hostilities mainly against unarmed civilians. On that basis, I would like to stress the following points. 1. All parties need to prioritize the protection of civilians and strictly comply with the rules of international law, including the international human rights law. The international humanitarian law. Since its beginning, this conflict led to the death of thousands of civilians from both ends, including women and children. It also displaced millions of people who fled areas of confrontation in very difficult circumstances, exposing them to hunger and harsh weather, especially during winter. 2. It is important that all parties ensure that such weapons do not fall into the hands of criminal and terrorist groups. They have to comply with their relevant international obligations. If such arms fall into the hands of such groups, this will be a major threat and risk, not only for the region, but also to international security. 3. Once again, we call for wisdom and restraint from all sides of the conflict. We call upon them to steer away from confrontation and conflict, to end the bloodshed of both civilians and soldiers. If fire is the language of arms, leading to killing and destruction, dialogue is the language of diplomacy, and it definitely leads to peace and stability. For this reason, both sides of the conflict, as well as the international community, must promote their efforts to provide a conducive environment for a constructive and comprehensive dialogue and negotiations leading to a peaceful solution for this conflict, a solution that is based on the principles and purposes of the UN Charter, a solution that takes into account the legitimate security concerns of both sides, away from any polarization which only leads to extending the conflict. Thank you.
I thank the representative of Algeria for their statement.